Welcome to Negosyo Negosyo, where we create conversations about small and new business opportunities so that we can inspire and educate others who may also want to go into business. That's why on Negosyo Negosyo, I want you to show me your negosyo. Hello mga kanegosyo! Welcome sa isa na naman pong episode ng Negosyo Negosyo. My name is Jules and I am the host of this podcast. My guest for this episode is a full-time employee and recently turned entrepreneur. He had 13 years experience in the banking and finance industry. He also had experience in sales and account management. He is also an insurance entrepreneur and now is the proud owner of a small business, which is a coffee beans distribution business. So without further ado, allow me to introduce my guest, si Vic Kapauan. Hello, Vic. How are you?
Hi, Jules.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you, Vic. Welcome to the show. For the benefit of our viewers and our listeners, saan ka located ngayon?
Yeah, Jules. So right now I'm located in Makati City. So I'm kind of central dito sa Manila. You know, easy to go north, easy to go south.
Yep. Maganda nga location eh. So medyo gitna ka eh. If you need to go south, madali access mo. If you need to go further north, QC and further, medyo gitna ka pa rin.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. And tell me about in my introduction, I mentioned that you had 13 years experience in banking industry. So what was that like?
Okay, so 13 years ako sa banking. But that was spent in multiple banks. So I was an employee of more than one bank, 4 in total. The last bank that I was connected with, I stayed in the longest. So I was there for 7 years actually. So parang dun ko talaga nakuha yung most of my my experience. To be honest, nung employed ako actually, I was a happy employee. You know, I enjoyed my work. I liked the job that I was doing. I enjoyed sales and account management. So happy naman ako as an employee for most, if not all, of those 13 years.
That's great. So 13 years ka, the banking finance industry. So what made you decide? Kasi sabi mo, you're happy naman
Yes.
in corporate. Ako, I'm quite happy in the number of years that I've been in corporate. You know, I do look back and I have, fond memories of my experience. And I'm sure ikaw din, what you're doing now, I'm sure you can say na marami dun sa mga skills, habits, and discipline na pick up mo at nagagamit mo rin sa business mo ngayon.
Yes, most definitely. Siguro if there's anything that I can say that I picked up in my 13 years corporate experience is really the training that I got. Kasi honestly, when I graduated, I wouldn't say that I was a person with a lot of self-discipline. Kung, alam mo na, I was young, I like to do a lot of things. I wasn't really as focused. So being employed or getting the training from all the companies that I was employed with really helped me parang get my priorities straight, especially since I was getting, I kind of grew up in the corporate world na rin from my early 20s until my mid 30s. So I kind of matured in that environment. So doon ko talaga masasabi that that really helped. Each company that I was with had its own training program, which I kind of took little bits of here and there, and then so that I can apply once I decided to become an entrepreneur or become self-employed. Now, being self-employed was actually something that I really planned to be, even if I went into corporate muna out of school. It's just that I really felt like di pa ako ready to do it. I had to see first kung what is it first that I wanted to do or what industry I can get into. before I can actually start it. And yun nga, and also the training. Now, I stayed 13 years kasi parang, I was having fun, I was enjoying, and parang, and I was progressing naman throughout my career. So, kaya din ako medyo tumagal as an employee. So, yun yung parang story behind that.
Right. Medyo nag-digress lang akong konti dun sa sa line of thought ko sa question ko.
Oh.
Given that you were already happy, satisfied with what's happening in your career, sa career path mo and everything. What was like the deciding factor that okay, this is it. This is the perfect time for me to go into business or become self-employed?
Okay. So, it was a number of things. Like, siguro, being employed while I was happy doing it and I was enjoying, meron pa rin talaga siyang negative aspect. Like, for one is, especially being in banks, your progression going up is a bit, it takes a while. No matter how good or talented you are, it does take some time. Mainly because there's already so many people ahead of you. You have your boss, the boss of your boss, so on and so forth. So parang malaki yung hierarchy when it comes to that particular industry. And second, as I was getting older, now kasi I'm 36 now, I guess I wouldn't call myself old yet, but I'm definitely not young. I was parang getting this feeling that I really wanted to do something that was my own, build something that I can call my own from the bottom, and then we'll see how big I can grow it. So I was really getting that itch, and then I also at the time had enough saved up to shell out any capital needed to start a business, and parang that gave me the confidence that maybe this is something that I should do now while I'm somewhere in the middle. Not too young and not too old. I have experience na, but I'm not really that old yet. So if in case whether I succeed in this or not, I still have time to recover. So those things really were my deciding factors. Plus, of course, I handle my own time, which I think, as all entrepreneurs, that's a plus side of being having your own business. You handle your own time.
Nice. And for you to have decided na I'll become self-employed or I'll go into business, how long did that process take?
Took a while, actually. It wasn't a quick decision. For me, I would say it probably took years. Even if I wanted to do it sooner, parang I felt, there was this fear, may fear pa, thoughts of not being ready, being unsure. So I went through all those thoughts and feelings. I'm not one of those people na impulsively na nag-start ng business kasi gusto magnegosyo. I'm more of, I think I'm actually more towards, what most people think, na maraming reservations, may takot, may fear. Pero, I just had to overcome that, and then now, I started it already.
Yeah. And how long was that ago? Like a year, 2 years ago, na to nung you push the trigger?
Right. Yeah, siguro I would say somewhere maybe about 2 years ago. Around that time, yeah, I really wanted to start already. Wasn't really sure yet what I was gonna do at the time, but I already had those feelings of parang soon I will be starting something. In fact, I would tell my wife na you know what, next year things might be different. Yan, sinasabi ko sa kanya without being specific. Parang nafe-feel ko lang na meron akong change na gagawin. And true enough, nangyari nga siya.
For most people, like you and myself, it's not an easy decision just to, jump from having a regular salary, di ba? That sense of security. And sabi mo nga, it took you years for you to do that. How many people did you consult about your decision?
A number of people. I have some friends who are businessmen, mga negosyante talaga. Some of which out of school they really went straight into business. I would say about three people that I consulted with. Some were, yun nga, like I said, 100% went into business, were never employed. Some were people na, like me, were employed first and then found something that they had a passion for and they turned it into a business. So I would always ask them questions every so often. Sometimes we would meet up, have coffee, kwentuhan. Sometimes it would just be through messaging, ganyan. But I would really try and get some insights every now and then, just to see if I can improve something in what I was planning. So I would consider those people to be more of like my business mentors, and it's something that actually I would recommend to people, whether they're thinking of starting a business or if they already have one. Having people who have a bit more knowledge than you do definitely gives you more confidence to pull a trigger or make a decision. So yeah, so I'd say about two or three people that I've really been constantly in touch with.
Nice. And ang ganda nga ng ganda na sinabi ni Vic, no, about consulting people. You don't just consult kung sino man, but in the case of Vic, ang kinonsult niya mga negosyante na. It's either talagang from college, from graduating, nagnegosyo na, sabi nga niya, or yung iba, nag-empleyado muna bago naging negosyante. But regardless, ang hinanap na yung mga mas experienced na mga taong makakapag-mentor sa kanya. So, just in case kayo po mga kanegosyo, if you're also thinking about going into business or you're really not sure, siguro the best, takeaway na doon sa sinabi ni Vic is hanap kayo ng mas experiensyado sa inyo. And, yung mga ganun lang. Si Vic dati would have coffee with them. Ngayon, baka just a simple phone call or have a Zoom meeting, di ba, with ito mga businessmen. And,
Yes.
parang pick their brains. Yung tipong, ano sa tingin mo, di ba? Kasi mas alam nila to kaysa sa atin . So,
Yes.
okay, ang ganda ng sinabi ni Vic. Going into your brand, into your business, your brand is
It's called Single Origin Benguet Brew.
Single
So
Origin Benguet Brew.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I purposely put the name Single Origin in the brand because I wanted really to be known for that type of coffee bean. So for those of you who don't know, Single Origin is a type of coffee bean actually. So most of the coffee that we have actually, whether you go to a Starbucks or maybe you buy the coffee in McDonald's, or my personal favorite before was the one in Dunkin' Donuts, di ba, coffee na yan. Those are all blended beans. So what that means is they're beans from all different sources, and then they're all blended into one batch. And then yun yung sinaserve sa atin. So when you say single origin naman, that is beans that come from one source only. It can mean it comes from one region, one area or one plant. Pa nga. It's that type of bean will have a more parang it will have more hints of flavor of where it's from. So the flavor will really depend also on the conditions of the region. So it could be soil, depending on the soil, the humidity. If is it wet, ganito, ganyan. So a lot of things that are considered in the flavor. I just like it better because the flavor is more full compared to the normal beans that we are served in restaurants or even the ones that you buy in the supermarket. My particular beans are actually sourced locally. So dito yan sa Philippines, in Benguet region. So thus the name Benguet Brew. So more specifically sa Atok, Benguet. So that's a mountain. There's a lot of local farmers there, and they produce these single origin beans. And I wanted to be one of the people that supplied this great product that they have to our market here in Metro Manila. So that's really the basic concept of my brand, of the single origin blanket.
Nice. And since you are single origin, lahat siya galing sa Benguet.
Dun sa
I'm sure
Atok
this
Benguet.
Atok Benguet, yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sure this is benefiting our local farmers.
Yes, 100%. So up there, yun nga, there is they call it, it's a co-op of farmers who
Co-op, okay.
produce, who produce this type of bean. So so there's a number of them, and we're able to support their business by buying the beans from them. Right? So
Nice.
they produce it, they supply it, and then I buy it from them, and then I distribute it here under my brand.
Mhm. What is it about Benguet coffee beans? Kasi ako, I also buy my coffee, usually beans din siya, then I grind it myself.
Okay.
What is it about the Benguet coffee bean itself? Ano yung for the benefit of our the audience, the listeners, mga kanegosyo natin na minsan iisip nila kape lang eh.
Right.
Pare-pareho siya, pero actually hindi eh.
Oh,
Ano yung flavor ng ng Benguet coffee
okay.
bean?
So most of the time, Benguet has this parang cocoa type of flavor. If you compare it to the regular blended beans that we are served, parang manonotice mo mas burnt yung lasa ng blended. So that burnt taste, which is also a bit bitter, for me, is something that I wanted to improve on in terms of taste when it comes to coffee. So if you taste a single origin, particularly the ones that I'm selling from Benguet, meron kang that burnt taste is not there. And you'll also parang get hints of that cocoa that I was mentioning. So it's a little bit more sweeter than normal than the normal beans that you would be served or that you're used to. And for me, I honestly enjoy that flavor more than yung burnt na lasa. And also, yung sa single origin, since it's all one type of bean sourced from one place, it's not blended with any other type of bean. You don't need that much coffee beans when you make your batch. So, me personally, I would only use about from the normal serving that you're used to, 75% lang nun ang ginagamit ko. And you'll get the full flavor already. So, yun.
Nice. So, yan mga kanegosyo. Ang kape po, hindi pare-pareho. Not all coffee are created equal and not all of them taste the same. So,
Yes. It really depends din on the area or the region. Kasi you'll notice there will be some coffees na galing Colombia, may ganon, may galing Brazil. Iba-iba talaga yung lasa ng mga yan. Kasi let's say for example, baka the one in Brazil is a little bit more fruity, ganyan, kasi in their region where it's sourced, it may be mixed with plants or fruits, kaya ganun yung lasa. So there will really be hints of flavor in your coffee. So ako, I've started to become more particular with that. And so yun, kaya ako siya medyo na-enjoy and decided to serve or distribute this specific type of bean.
nice. And yung coffee bean itself, when you source it sa mga Benguet farmers, sila ba mismo ang nito? Yung what do you call that process? Parang niluluto nila yung bean.
Are they roast, you mean? Roast it? Yes. So I personally do not have a roaster. Mm-hmm. So those from these farmers, you can actually buy it from them roasted already.
Mm-hmm.
So ako naman, I'm not an expert in roasting. So that's why I figured, why would I roast it myself? Diba? Hindi naman ako expert dyan.
Yeah.
They are experts when it comes to roasting. So yes. I just asked them to roast, a particular kind. So pwedeng medium roast yan, pwedeng light, pwedeng dark. And then when it's shipped here from Benguet, luto na siya. Kumbaga ready na siya, ready to pack na siya.
Nice. So yung product mo are whole beans to, no? Hindi pa siya ground.
Yes. Well, actually, it comes to me in whole beans. But there are many coffee drinkers there that want it grounded already or grinded already. So I have my own grinder. So I
Okay.
ask my customer or client if they want it whole beans or if they want it grinded. And I
Okay.
also ask what type of grind they want because it also depends on what type of machine you're gonna use. For example, if you're gonna use a French press, then your grinds have to be a bit more coarse. Kasi if it's
Mhm.
very fine, lulusot siya dun sa French press and magkakaroon ka ng
Yes.
parang small, small butil-butil ng coffee na lulusot na baka
Yeah.
mainom mo.
Yeah.
At the same, yeah, if you're using naman a coffee maker, then you can use yung grinded beans talaga kasi may filter naman yun. So yun, so it can be specific naman to the coffee drinker.
So you mentioned no, coffee press or meron kang coffee machine. Personally, anong parang preferred mo na method of brewing?
For single origin beans, yung preferred method ko talaga is French press.
French press.
Kasi mas nakukuha mo talaga yung full flavor ng bean. So I actually have my beans as whole beans, and then I prepare my coffee based on my actual consumption. So
Okay.
kung morning coffee ako, then doon pa lang ako mag-grind ng beans ko. So I'll grind usually just enough for myself, or if my wife wants a cup, then I'll grind for her as well. And then
Okay.
doon pa lang ako gagawa. So hindi ako nagpe-pre-grind ng beans talaga. And then I use a French press kasi as mentioned, a French press will allow you to taste the flavor more. And also for me, it's a convenient way to make coffee. Parang meron kang ginagawang concoction pag nag-French press ka. Kasi nag-grind ka, tapos mag-init ka ng tubig, and then i-mix mo siya sa loob ng French press, and then may konting waiting time pa siya. So I enjoy that process actually. So I mean, not everyone, like if you're in a rush, obviously, then you may not have the time to do all that process. Then you can just use a regular coffee maker, wala namang problema yun. But if you want a bit more of an experience, then that's a good way to do it. Ako, I enjoy doing it. Yeah, that's my preferred method talaga.
Nice. Quick tip, pag nagpe-French press, ilang minutes dapat siyang nakababad sa sa water?
Um, ako di kasi so after I pour the water and then the beans are there, I mix it first. I do a mix first. I mix everything together. And then when I leave it to settle, usually saglit lang ako, mga 8 to 10 minutes lang.
Okay.
Yeah, mga 8 to 10 minutes. So that should be enough already. And then makikita mo naman uh, the beans or the grinded beans would have already fallen or settled at the bottom. And then after that, press mo na siya. And then you consume na whatever's left on top that's filtered already.
Okay. So, right now, we're showing yung Facebook page ng Single Origin Benguet Brew, which is facebook.com/Single Origin Benguet Brew. That's one word. Okay.
Yes.
So, you also have a Instagram page, which
I
is
do.
actually
So
very, yeah.
yeah, so I do. I'm on those two platforms right now. Um, so for Instagram naman, you can see some of these shots. To be completely honest, some of these shots are free photos, but many of these are actually done by of mine, my brother-in-law. So my brother-in-law is a photographer. So I asked him to take some shots of my product, and he's actually given me quite a number that will already fill up my whole month worth of social media posts.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I just mix it up lang with some free photos that are available online or whatnot. But I try to keep it within the within my brand, which is Mountain Coffee, no? Kasi Benguet Brew nga siya. So a lot of these shots will have may bundok, ganyan, coffee.
All right.
And then of course coffee is used to power up for your workday. So may mga shots akong ganyan, workday shots and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so these things I kind of just think of myself with the help of my brother-in-law. with his talent to take photos. And then yun, ganun lang. And then I just post as often as often as needed. Constantly just trying to gain an audience, like many people on social media.
Mhm. And between your Facebook page and your Instagram account, where do you get the most probably engagement or inquiries?
Okay, so I would say Facebook pa din. Kasi
Facebook pa rin.
in the Philippines, Facebook is the biggest social media platform by far.
Mhm.
Yeah, Instagram I think is a third pa kasi you still have YouTube as the second biggest media platform. So Facebook, also kasi I think Facebook is much more ready and capable in terms of business tools like chat, um, posting your price, orders, ganyan. So parang mas ready si Facebook in that sense. And also, Facebook as platform kasi you can also post other things aside from photos. Kasi si Instagram, mostly photos lang yan. On Facebook, I'm able to educate people more in terms of coffee. So every now and then, I'll post a video or an article that will basically show you how to prepare coffee better. Maybe it's a video on the different ways to prepare. What single origin beans are and why or compare it to blended beans.
Okay.
So may mga ganun. So there's a lot more engagement on Facebook because of the because the platform allows you to post a bit more about your product. Yeah, pero I do both equally. And I'm very active on both platforms. So halos every day I have one or two updates or posts.
And do you boost your posts sa Facebook?
Yes, I do. I've siguro just to mention na rin, no. In the other business that I do, which is the insurance, I've had some success kasi boosting posts on Facebook, and I'm just replicating that process also
Nice.
for my business na coffee beans. And ano siya, no? I try to boost to get engagement, and I also try to boost to get messages. So those are two different things. Engagement is so that you have more of a following, people that will really look at your page and look at your brand, and baka eventually they might become customers or clients. And then for messages naman, it's really for people who want to buy outright. So I do both naman.
Okay. For the benefit of yung mga kanegosyo natin, no, yung Facebook boosting, basically, nagbabayad ka para yung post mo, mas maraming tao ang makakita. And
Yes.
in your case, Vic, mahal ba to? Is it expensive para mag-boost?
No, actually, Facebook has a minimum of, I believe it's like 500 pesos a week. Okay, so that's the minimum, or 100 pesos a day, I believe. Even less pa nga, if I'm not mistaken. So it won't cost you a lot. And Facebook kasi, or most social media platforms now are really turning into more for a pay-to-play kind of platform where yung organic reach hindi na ganoon kalaki. So when I say organic reach, that's really just your friends, the ones that you have connections with. So I think parang we're in a time now, or a space now, where it makes sense to pay so that you reach an audience that's beyond your connections. So, and it's worth it naman. It's very worth it. It won't take it doesn't take a lot to get back whatever you spent on the ads. So bumabalik naman siya. So it has been a good for me. A fairly good experience for me when I do Facebook ads.
Okay. So sulit yung investment mo sa pag-boost, in other words.
Yes, absolutely. Sulit na sulit talaga.
Alright. Step back ko lang ng konti, no. Sabi mo kanina, para sa mga kanegosyo natin, magandang tip yung namanggit mo yung pagkakaiba ng Facebook sa Instagram. Sa Instagram, more on more on images ang focus mo eh.
Yes.
Diba? Parang yung product shots mo. Pero when it comes to mas mahabang usapan, sa Facebook ka.
Yes. So if you kind of want to say something a bit more about your product, then and if you want to include links for one, kasi siguro for those who have used Instagram for a long time, you'll know that you cannot actually put links in your caption. Pag naglagay ka ng link doon, di mo siya makiklik. It has to be the link in bio. So that means you have to keep on updating your link in bio every so often in Instagram. Unlike in Facebook, each post is unique where you can put its own photo, video, link, caption, and lahat. So, it's a bit more, more flexible, I would say. And it's easier for you to kind of educate your audience to your product in that platform. But you can say more.
Yeah. So kagaya nitong tinitingnan ko ngayon right here, meron ka mga pinopost sa Facebook mo. So mas mahaba nga yung usapan, which is basically ito video siya, YouTube na link siya.
Yes.
So
yes.
Cool Bean versus Playground. So
yes.
This is something na hindi mo magagawa sa well,
sa
at least
Instagram.
Sa Instagram, hindi siya directly mo pwedeng magawa to.
Well, no, you can't because you can post the actual video in Instagram if you'd like. But if you want to put a link kasi, it won't allow you to. Unless, I believe, for you to get to that point, you have to be an Instagram user that has X number of followers, which obviously most of us who are starting out in business don't have that yet.
Yeah.
So wala pa tayo dun sa siguro when the time comes and you have thousands of followers, then there will be more options to you available in Instagram. But currently wala pa. So kaya sa Facebook ko linalagay yan. And also because mas marami talagang users sa Facebook sa Philippines kaysa sa Instagram. So I'm actually more while I'm present on both platforms, I'm more heavily invested in Facebook at the moment.
So yung mga nililink mo na videos, mostly YouTube siya sa Facebook page mo.
Yes.
Are these your own videos or you just link mga coffee-related na videos?
Yeah, it's just coffee-related. Kasi this, pero if you'll notice, is very general. And what this means is it applies to all types of coffee products or mga coffee drinkers. So I haven't found the time yet to make videos that I can post myself or my own videos. I mean, so far right now. Anyway, my goal is just to educate anyway through these links and these articles. So I search my own. I search videos, which I think will be relevant to my page, and then those are the ones that I post.
Yeah. And why is it important na meron kang regular na post?
Okay. So for me, the consistency is key because Facebook will based on Facebook's algorithm, the more that you post or the more consistent you are with your content, uunahin ka nila. So if somebody ever searches coffee in the search bar and they're in the Philippines, if I'm the most consistent page in terms of posting, then mauuna yung page ko. So that's part of my marketing strategy is to also try and be one of those first few when you search for single origin coffee sa Philippines.
Yeah. So sabi ni Vic sa Facebook, meron kasi tinatawag na algorithm. Basically ito yung yung parang AI niya or artificial intelligence. So the more consistent ka sa mga pinopost ko, in the case of Vic, ang business niya is coffee. So the more mas consistent siya, yung post niya, unang-una dapat regular yung posting niya. Second, yung pinopost niya dapat related doon sa business niya o yung sa pinaka-topic niya, pinaka-niche niya kung tawagin. Kasi si Facebook, tinitingnan niya lahat dun kapag yung pinopost mo sa page mo, for example, ganun nga, coffee yung business mo. Pero ang pinopost mo, yung iba, you're posting about kung ano yung pinaka-latest na nangyayari ngayon sa Metro Manila, for example. Walang kinalaman sa business mo. Medyo nalilito si Facebook. So you need a little bit of yung consistency, saka dapat related yung post mo. Kasi the more nagagawa mo yon, consistent ka, and related yung mga post mo, si Facebook, mas inaano niya, mas nire-recommend niya yung video mo dun sa mga parang sa tingin niya magiging target customers mo, target audience mo.
Right.
Diba? Kasi parang makita nila, si Jules mahilig din mag-post tungkol sa kape. Eksakto, si Vic ang dami niyang post tungkol sa kape.
Yes, exactly.
Mas makikita ko yung post ni Vic about his product.
Exactly. So I think tayo as Facebook users, mapapansin natin yan. Like if ever like I search example for a particular item or topic, usually yung nangyayari is yung mga recommend sa akin articles are related to that. No? So ganun lang naman siya. So that's kind of like the premise that I'm working on. So the more that I'm active in posting and just being consistent with it, if somebody searches for that particular thing that I'm selling, which is coffee beans, then ako yung lalabas sa mga recommended niya sa susunod. So my business actually, I've only been in business for this coffee business for about 3 months. But the growth has been quite it's been quite encouraging. So much so that I actually have 2 distributors already of my 2 stores that are distributing my coffee already. Nice. So the first one is Farm Beans, farmbeans.ph. They're located in BFOs. Mm-hmm. So they actually have very good products that complement my coffee, which is actually I think why we had that partnership. So sila, they have dairy products. So syempre, pag sa yung dairy, then pasok na rin yung coffee dyan. They also have ice cream, ganun. They have desserts. So pastry. So yun yung mga okay na i-combine with my product na coffee. So they also have a Facebook page, so you guys can check that out. It's Farm Beans. Just type Farm Beans. And then the other one naman is another store that kind of has the same market as I do. Kasi ito naman, it's they sell fresh eggs. No? So ang pangalan ng partnership ko with them, that company is called Egg Grande. So sila naman are farm fresh eggs. So that's the owner of that store owns a farm in Pampanga. And he sells yung free range eggs. So it's breakfast, di ba? Eggs are normally used for breakfast. So parang maganda yung marriage namin kasi ako naman coffee. So you also drink coffee in the morning. So these are 2 stores or distributors that are located in the south area. Although they kind of they focus on 2 different areas of the south. Malaki ang south, may Las Piñas, may Parañaque, may Lupa, Alabang. So they're kind of separate from each other. So yun. So and that's just in 3 months of business. No, so that's very encouraging for me. Apart from the retail sales that I have from people ordering from me online.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. 3 months ka pa lang sa business mo. And yet, sabi mo nga, very inspiring. And yes, very inspiring yun. For 3 months, may 2 ka ng distributor. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And itong 3 months na to, kasi just 3 months ago, medyo, di ba, still naka-lockdown pa naman din tayo eh. Daming restriction. So,
yes.
Ano yung pinakamalaking challenge mo? Kasi para ma-source mo yung beans mo all the way from Benguet, ibababa mo dito sa Metro Manila. Ano yung mga naging challenges?
There were some, a lot. Kasi for example, one, when you're registering your business pala, buti na lang DTI allows you to register a name online. No? But I still had to get somebody to do the legwork, to do the BIR, the permit, the city permits you need to operate. So medyo matagal yun. Kasi isa pa, you don't really want to go out and go to government offices kasi we're in COVID, diba? Regarding the logistics naman of getting the beans down here, luckily there is I have or there is a service that you can get. It's just a bus that will take the beans from Baguio down to Manila. I'm in Makati, so I can easily pick it up in their pickup points here in Metro Manila. So minsan ano yun, sa QC lang, sa may Cubao, ganyan. Sometimes they go all the way to Pasay, so depende sa mapaglagyan ng cargo. So it's not really, it wasn't really that difficult to arrange it. The logistics. Of course, yung ano lang is there's always that safety issue that may fear talaga ako na ano eh. Especially me kasi this COVID-19 is something that I'm fearful of kasi I grew up always with asthma, getting sick, maubo, sipon. So, I'm very weary of this pandemic kasi baka for me madali ako maawa sa mga ganyan. So, the security was my main issue talaga. So, parang yung ginagawa ko lang is, just take the necessary precautions when I'm picking up things. Naka-gloves, naka-mask, naka-shield, parating sanitize, i-UV yung mga deliveries. So, gano'n lang. Just take the necessary precaution. Pero, parang my want to start a business was greater than my fear of any virus or whatever's going around. Kaya, tinuloy ko pa rin siya.
Nice. And just for mga kagaya ko, wala naman akong experience having or handling a coffee distribution business. Itong beans, pagdating ba sa'yo, ano may itsura niya? Nakasako siya? And kailangan mo bang malaking lugar para i-process or i-repack yung beans?
No. So the beans come to me in naka fresh siya. Naka-sack, and then sa loob ng sack may seal siya because you want to maintain the freshness of the beans, no? So the seal is important kasi if kung may konting lang dyan, then that bean won't really last as long. Now with regarding the space, it doesn't really require a lot of space kasi my first order, hindi ko kasi alam kung gaano kadami bibili sa akin. It's really a risk, di ba? You buy your first inventory, papaship mo. You don't know if you're gonna be able to sell it or not. Diba? So I started off with small lang, 20 kilos worth of beans. Rinipack pa lang siya. In this small area I have, by the way, I only live in a 65 square meter condo. Buti na lang the kitchen area is a bit large, so that's where I repack everything in the kitchen. I just have a small space where I have a weigher for the beans. I have a sealer for my for after I repack, I have to seal it to maintain the freshness. And then ganun lang. And then I have like a scooper for the beans and then I just keep beans naman. The good thing about coffee is that you just keep it in a cool, dry place, and you're good. That will last already up to 60 days. So tagal yung shelf life. Actually, even longer pa nga kung nakasil. So matagal yung shelf life niya. So it's not hard to store.
Okay, so hindi mo kailangan ng warehouse.
No. I mean, if you're talking about large quantities na talaga, then you may need a bigger space. Pero just to give you an idea, you know how large 20 kilos of coffee beans is? Maliit lang yun eh. Parang maleta lang yun eh.
Okay.
So, yeah, parang maleta lang yun. So yung isang maleta, punong-puno ng coffee beans, 20 kilos lang yun. Ganun lang siya. So you can imagine ang maleta, it's square in size, di ba? Pwede mo lang talaga isang tabi yun. So you don't need a very large space.
And your products are in anong sizes niya when they are sold?
So actually, good question. Because I started off with just two sizes, 250 grams and 1 kilo. 250 grams for those who just want it for personal consumption, and then 1 kilo who want to buy it in bulk. So my distributors usually buy it in that 1 kilo in that 1 kilo bag. But actually, I'm coming up with a smaller size, a 150-gram pack. Kasi we're entering the Burr months na, no? We're entering the Christmas season. For some, it's already the Christmas season kasi September, mag-October na nga next week. And that 150-gram bag will be so that people can buy it to give us gifts. So parang naka-repack siya in a more Christmas looking bag. Pero of course, for ano pa lang yun, for parang pre-order pa lang. Kasi ayaw mo naman bumili ng beans October pa lang, yung Pasko, December pa yun. Diba? Pero pwede ka naman pre-order in those smaller sizes para then it won't be as expensive. Siguro I just wanted to also mention those distributors that I said kanina. So the reason why is because they have free delivery, you know? So usually kasi I think that's their advantage. When you buy kasi from me directly, although our prices are the same, they sell at the same price that I do para may uniformity. But if you buy it directly from me, you'll have to also pay for Grab or Lalamove or Mr. Speedy or whatnot. Kung sino mang logistics partner available dyan, which may add to your cost. My distributors, they have their own delivery. So if you're living in the south area, Parañaque, Muntinlupa, Las Piñas, take advantage of that if you want my product. And also, you may want to take a look at their products. So again, just to parang remind everyone, the first one is farm beans.
Farm beans.
Yeah, farm beans. And then the other one is egg grande.
Egg grande.
Yes, egg grande. So egg and then grande. So,
okay.
Yeah. So those two stores, very good. They also have other products that you may want to take a look at yourself. I like their products actually. That's why I decided that it's a good partnership for us if we do this. So yun lang. That's just something that I wanted to remind everyone to do.
Okay, so thank you very much, Vic. So if you need more information, do check out yung Facebook and Instagram page ni Vic. On Facebook, it is facebook.com/single Origin Benguet Brew. And on Instagram, it's instagram.com/single Origin Benguet Brew. All right.
Please check it out. Send me a message if you want to order. And yun, para you guys can experience better cup of coffee. We're supporting pa local farmers and local business.
All right. So thank you very much, Vic, for appearing in this episode. It's a pleasure talking coffee. It's really something that's close to my heart, being a coffee lover.
Yes. Thanks for having me. I really appreciated the time, and also to also get our brand out there for all of us early and starting off na entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much to all our viewers and to all our listeners. Whether you are tuning in on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all the other listening platforms, thank you very much. Please, if you have any comments or suggestions on how I can further improve this episode, please do leave something in the comment section. And please let me know from what part of the world are you listening to this podcast. It would be really a pleasure to hear from you. So thank you very much. Once again, my name is Jules. I'm the host of this podcast. Until the next episode, goodbye and God bless.